Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through the noise and give you the vital info from recent news. Malaysian corporate moves, international shifts, the works.
Yeah, and what's really striking is how these pieces fit together, It paints a bigger picture of the economy right now.
Definitely. Our mission today is simple. Help you quickly grasp what really matters in these headlines.
Okay, let's jump in. Where are we starting?
Let's start local Malaysian company news from yesterday, August 6th. Some big infrastructure stuff happening. Azam Jaya, for instance, they landed a RM 120.9 million contract for the Tawau airport upgrade. Big boost for them in Sabah.
Right, and Citaglobal's moving into ports and logistics too, buying a stake in the Perlis Maritime Corridor developer. That's about RM 40 million.
Plus the Penang Hill cable car project that's finally moving ahead with financing. Should be great for tourism.
Yeah, you see this pattern, right? Infrastructure, logistics, tourism infrastructure.
Yeah.
It connects. And it ties into construction games too. Look at Gamuda.
Yes. Gamuda and analysts seem pretty bullish on them.
They are. They're raising target prices. Why? Expected contracts like Google data centers here in Malaysia, plus big projects overseas, Taiwan, Australia.
So high-tech construction is really looking strong.
Exactly. But it's not all smooth sailing across the board.
No, definitely not. Take Hartalega. Their stock hit decade lows. Ouch.
Yeah, a really weak quarter for them. They're dealing with that global glove oversupply, fierce competition, plus rising costs here, electricity tariffs, and now this big tax bill over RM 100 million.
It's a tough environment.
Yeah.
And Lottie Chemical Titan is struggling too, right? Another quarterly loss.
13th in a row. Analysts are basically saying, be careful, demand's low, there's too much capacity in petrochemicals. It's a global thing hitting them hard.
So a real split then. Infrastructure and tech construction are up,
Right.
while some traditional manufacturing is facing major headwinds.
Precisely. But even within that, you see resilience. Mossing's Johor project, M. Grand Menori, 90% take-up for the first tower.
Wow, 90%.
Yeah, that Johor-Singapore Special Economic Zone effect is real. Shows there's demand if the location and product are right. And look at Kiprit, too.
The retail REIT. How are they doing with costs going up for malls?
They're actually doing pretty well. Yield is above average, around 8%. Their community-focused mall model seems more resilient to those cost pressures. It really highlights the need for smart strategies.
Okay, what else on the corporate front? There was a legal case?
Yeah. Infomina's Philippine unit suing the Bank of Philippine Islands. RM 133 million. Alleged invalid contract termination for software. That'll be interesting to follow.
Definitely. And good news for Farmaniaga, finally.
Yes, they completed that big capital reduction and wiped out their losses. They're on track to get out of PN17 status. That's a turnaround story, hopefully.
Seems like companies are really having to adjust, whether it's legal battles or restructuring.
Or even just tweaking forecasts. Pentamaster saw profits dip, but they expect a better second half. Better orders coming in for automated test equipment, and they're diversifying, renewables, data centers.
And Petronas. There were reports about Brazil.
Right. They reaffirmed their commitment there, said Brazil's important for their energy operations, even though they regularly review investments. It's about strategic positioning.
Got it. Okay, let's shift to Malaysian policy. This stuff directly hits businesses and, well, us. Energy first.
Yeah, the government's expected to announce a new net energy metering scheme this month. NEM, basically about selling excess solar power back to the grid, tied to tariff reforms, too.
Trying to make subsidies fairer, I suppose. And nuclear power talk.
Post-2030, it's on the table for long-term baseload power needs, and also water tariff-specific ones for data centers and heavy industry.
To encourage recycling water.
Exactly. Protect domestic supply. Also, big digital push coming. National cloud computing policy launching soon, August 13th.
Right, at the Asian AI Summit.
Yeah.
Aiming to boost cloud infrastructure, accelerate AI.
And they're looking at tightening localization rules, too. Trying to get local SMEs a bigger piece of the FDI pie, push that made by Malaysia tech idea.
Interesting. On transport, that barrierless toll system. Any updates?
Concessionaires have 2 years to get partners sorted. Government says it'll happen without financial burden on them, which is ambitious.
We'll see. And fuel prices.
RN 97 and 95 unchanged. Diesel up slightly, 3 sen in the peninsula.
Okay. So these policies, energy, digital, local content, they're really trying to shape Malaysia's competitiveness, aren't they?
Absolutely. It's about adapting to and influencing the global landscape.
Speaking of global, let's look outwards. U.S.-China tensions are always simmering. What's new?
Well, 2 Chinese nationals were charged with illegally exporting NVIDIA AI chips to China. Shows those U.S. export controls are still being actively enforced.
Despite NVIDIA apparently not loving the idea of chip tracking tech.
Right. And related, maybe, the U.S. trade deficit with China, it plunged to a 21-year low.
Wow. And Trump's talking about maybe extending the trade truce?
Yeah, said he's getting very close, always keeps things interesting. But these geopolitical moves have real economic ripples.
Like in the U.S., services sector data looked a bit weak.
Yeah, activity slowed, but prices remain sticky. That puts the Fed in a tricky spot, Increases bets on rate cuts, maybe sooner rather than later.
And companies are borrowing like crazy.
Corporate debt sales topped $1 trillion, fastest pace since 2020. Partly refinancing before the U.S. election uncertainty, partly because yields have dipped a bit.
Okay, moving closer to home, India. Central bank held rates.
Steady, yeah. But they flagged risks from potential U.S. tariffs linked to India buying Russian oil. That could hit their growth.
And oil prices bounced back a bit.
They did. Came off a 5-week low. Supply disruption worries, partly fueled by Trump's threats against India over that same Russian oil issue.
It's all connected. Finally, a big move in the rice market.
Huge. The Philippines, the world's top buyer, suspended rice imports for 60 days.
To help their local farmers.
That's the reason given. But it could definitely put more upward pressure on global rice prices, which are already high.
So trade wars, tech controls, rate decisions, commodity policies. These global events really do hit local markets, don't they? Even our wallets.
Absolutely. You can't look at any of this in isolation. Every piece connects, and it encourages you to think critically about what's driving the headlines.
And that brings us to the end of this deep dive. We've covered a lot. Growth, challenges, policy shifts, global ripples.
Yeah, it really reminds us that understanding these things isn't just about knowing what happened yesterday. It's about thinking, okay, why did it happen and what might come next?
Which leads to a question for you, our listeners.
How might these economic currents, these political shifts we've talked about, how might they actually inform the decisions you make in the coming months? Something to think about.
Definitely something to mull over. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. If you found this valuable, please consider subscribing to the Malaysia Money Matters podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be back soon with more insights. Hey there, thanks for tuning in. If you would like a deeper dive into all the investment opportunities from today's news, subscribe to my newsletter at moneymatters.substack.com. I will be sharing a deeper analysis of the key investment opportunities from today's news, including what makes these opportunities stand out and how they fit into the broader market trends. By subscribing to the Malaysia Money Matters newsletter, you will also get exclusive insights on my watch list and portfolio and fundamental reports on Malaysian listed companies.